Hello everybody, hope you're having a wonderful day, and this is lesson number 40. Wow, different colors. This is lesson number 14 in our dive into the wonderful world of music theory. And today we're gonna sort of enter a chapter where we're gonna be talking about a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. It's not really belonging to one, overarching branch of music. Like we were talking about basic pitch, basic duration, then advanced pitch and advanced duration. Now we're gonna go through some other things which are required for you to be musically literate, but are not strictly belonging to a specific group. And the first one I want to go through is tempo. I'm sure you must have heard this word before. Now, very simply, tempo is a measure of how fast or slow a piece of music is. So, how fast or how slow, right? It's a measure of that. So, I'm sure you must have realized by now that when I was telling you that the type of note in the music, such as a half note or a whole note or a quarter note, tells you how long to play a sound, I didn't mean that it'll actually tell you in terms of seconds. Like maybe this is not how it works. Now, depending on the time signature, these notes will tell you what are the count. They correspond to some amount of counts, and you sustain them for that many counts, and you're counting in the background 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You're counting in the background. And this is what this does, why it's beneficial is you can completely shift the speed. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4 slowly, like 1, 2, 3, 4, the music suddenly becomes slow because you're doing it count-wise, not by any specific amount of time. And if you count 1, 2, 3, 4 fast, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, the music suddenly becomes fast. The same music written down on the sheet music. If you would like me to give an example, and if you're still a bit confused, let's take Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So, doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my current tempo. Let's slow down first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I speed it up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and that could be written with the same sheet music, but because I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4 faster, then it becomes fast, right? So, where I was trying to go with this, that tempo is of course a measure of how fast or slow the music is, but the way we write it down, right, the way we indicate tempo is not in terms of seconds or anything. It's in terms of essentially how we're supposed to count this, at what speed are we supposed to count, and then everything else works in place. Anyways, I also wanted to illustrate that the same piece of music written down on sheet music can have multiple different tempos. But that being said, composers don't always feel like leaving it up to you to decide what tempo to play the piece. Some pieces are meant to be played slow, some pieces are meant to be played fast. So they feel if they want the piece to be played slow or fast, they should have the decision to do so. And they have it. So there are two main ways where composers can write down the tempo. They indicate at what speed they want the music to be played. So first we'll be exploring the metronomic method, and then we'll be exploring the Italian words method, so to speak. So the metronomic method is, let's say you have a piece of sheet music, right? On it and staff, 5 lines. You've got your clef right here, maybe your key signature, your time signature. Everyone's happy, and there's some music in here. Everyone's happy. Some music, great. Okay, now what a composer will often do is he will leave an indication above the staff, right above the staff, saying something like quarter note is equal to 90. And what does this mean? Well, this is reference to a metronome. That means that each quarter note, if you were playing a string of quarter notes, they should occur 90 times a second. 90 times a minute, sorry, 90 times a minute. So this is in fact 90 BPM, beats per minute. So that means the quarter note must occur. If you are playing just a string of quarter notes, it must occur 90 times a minute, right? And what this means in context is much more different. So if I have a 4/4 time signature, one count is equal to a quarter note, right? So if one count is equal to a quarter note, and I've got quarter note is equal to 90, that means each count should be occurring 90 times a minute. So let me demonstrate. It's best for me to demonstrate rather than to explain anymore. So as you can see, I've got a metronome right here, and I'm going to change the tempo to 90. So what is doing? This is saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So what has this metronome done for me? What it's done is that it's telling me that the quarter note equals 90 means that each count should occur 90 times a minute. And this is not the speed I'm going with. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I play Twinkle Twinkle, it'll start with this. So what I've done is each is telling me how each count progresses. So it's saying that the counts, the way you're doing it, should occur 90 times per minute, and that gives them a certain speed. Similarly, if you had something, and whenever this is whenever you have a 2 4 3 4 or 4 4 times signature, you always see quarter note is equal to 90, a quarter note is equal to 70, a quarter note is equal to 100, right? Why? Because the quarter note represents one count there. So it's saying that each count should occur 100 times a minute, or 2 times a minute, or 50 times a minute. And as I said, that will make it occur at a specific speed. That's the speed at which you count at and then subsequently play, right? There's also, now what if you'll often find 4 5 when you're writing music in maybe a 2 time signature, or 3 time signature, or 4 time signature, you'll see instead of quarter note, you see half note is equal to 90 or whatever, right? That means because now the count is not a quarter note, one count is equal to a half note in a 2 time signature. So now saying a half note, so each count is occurring 90 times a second, but the count is now half note, right? So hopefully this makes sense, right? This is basically something you plug into a metronome to get a sense of the speed. Now this could be, if it's 120, it would be 120 beats per minute, which means the counts would be occurring much faster. So I'd be counting 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and if this was 50, I would count it much slower. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. And how much slower is determined by a metronome. There's a device, now it's all digital, which will do it 50 beats per minute and give you the exact speed. And this because now you have the speed at which to count 1 2 3 4, or 1 2 3, or 1 2, whichever time signature you're using, that immediately locks the speed of the piece inside. And that's the first way to do it. Now one note about this is you'll rarely see composers, perhaps they've written a piece of music in a 2 4 time signature, yet they've written half note is equal to 80, for example. That just means that now instead of taking every 2 counts, so instead of if I've got, let me set a tempo to 18 and I'll just show you what I mean. All that means is now is that each 2 counts means that each 2 counts is now equal. So that's, you see, 2 3 4. So I should count this as 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. That's how I'm counting this, because each half note is worth 2 counts now. So it's the same thing as saying 2 counts is worth 80. It's very rare you will see composers do this, but they do it at times. So just good to know that this can happen as well. Regardless, this is the first way. It's extremely precise. They can tell you exactly what speed they want it to be, like this. Now the second way, which is often slightly more common, is by giving you a word to tell you the speed. And this is where things get a bit more interesting. So instead of giving you an exact speed like quarter note is equal to 105, right? Instead of doing that, composers may write a word above the staff saying play it slowly or play it fast. Now it's a bit more precise in that there are a couple of different words we use, and they're not in English, they're in Italian. So let's learn them. So now I'll only be teaching you the main ones, because those are the really only ones you need to learn. So you can just look this up on the internet and you'll get hundreds, but the main ones to know is adagio, spelled like this, means played slowly or slow. Andante, which is spelled like this, and once again it's written above the staff, so andante, like that, it's written above the staff, just there, means at a walking pace, slightly faster. Walking pace, literally what it translates to, it means it's not too fast or slow, like slightly faster than slow. Then we have moderato, which means moderately fast, right? So it's maybe more like a tuck, 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 around the 80s, 90s range, right? Moderato, moderately fast. It is a interpretation, but there you can clearly see it's a slow walking pace, moderately fast, whatever, right? Then the next one is allegro. I said there are quite a few others which can come in between, but these are the main ones, which means fast, just means fast. And finally, there's presto, which means very fast. These are the main five you will see around. So adagio, which means slow, andante, which means walking pace, so slightly faster than slow. Moderato means moderately fast. Allegro means fast. Presto means very fast. And as I said, the way you find these is you have the clef, you have the key signature, maybe you have the time signature, and right above you will have allegro, and that means fast. That means fast. There's some other in between as well, right? Like allegretto or grave, but I don't want to get into those. These are the real main ones. That being said, I hope you found this. That's all I really wanted to cover for today. So tempo, once again, you can have it as in form where if you plug this number into a metronome, it will tell you to count like at one certain speed. So 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Right, and that's usually in line with what count it is. It will be either telling you the beep will be for each count, or sometimes the beep will be for every 2 counts, or sometimes for every 4 counts, but it's mainly for every count. And yeah, so it's earlier they had these physical metronomes which would go tuck 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 tuck. Now we have digital metronomes mainly. Point is, a very precise way of telling them exactly how fast to count, and by extension how fast to play the music. Then we also have these words which are slightly more ambiguous but still tell you you want to play it slow or fast or moderately fast or very fast. That being said, I hope you found this lesson relatively useful. I hope you found it a little bit enjoyable as well, and wishing you a very happy rest of the day. Very wonderful rest of the day. I will see you next lesson. Bye.